Did you know that the altcoin prices like to take off at the same point during every 4-year cycle? And we have a 4-year cycle in crypto because Bitcoin block rewards are cut in half every 4 years. And we're right here in the 2024 halving. And every 10 minutes, there is a Bitcoin block reward. And right now, the block reward is 3.125 Bitcoin. And you can see we are right here. This halving reward countdown is going to continue for over the next century, all the way until 2136 roughly. And this reduction in Bitcoin rewards is why we have a 4-year cycle that we can kind of track and then determine when to get in and get out of our altcoin positions and Bitcoin positions here. And so when we're looking at this chart, the answer is, when exactly should you start loading up on alts? Should you start selling your alts now? What can this give us? What kind of tea leaves are we going to be reading here? And well, we're going to look at this as well. So there's 4 stages of Bitcoin. And you can see right now there's the red phase. And right now, folks, we're about to enter the best box. This is the second bull box. And there is a Bitcoin halving reward every 4 years. So you can see here, 2014, 2018, 2022. So you see a 4-year difference. A little bit different for the first cycle there, but 2017 was the good year. 2021 was the good year. And it looks like 2025 is going to be the good year for this cycle as well. And I use this template to determine when to sell my crypto. And it worked great for me last cycle. And I plan on using this again. But this is Bitcoin. And so what is it going to tell us about altcoins? Well, there's another thread I wanted to share here, and he's saying it's happening around Christmas. This is DeFi Tracer, but in my data collation, I've learned that it might actually be the start of the year. January 1st might be a little bit better day than December 25th. So in 2020, did you know altcoins pumped 3,000% after Christmas or after the new year? And if history repeats, alts are going to explode. Not in 3 days, maybe closer to 3 days from today. And in the thread, he kind of does a little bit of a better explanation. So history tends to repeat itself, and Bitcoin dominance in December of the bull cycle shows peak values. We're going to go over Bitcoin dominance and what this chart pattern is going to mean for your altcoins. And we witnessed this in yesterday's rebalancing of large capital into altcoins. This is a few days ago. And while Bitcoin showed correction, the altcoins demonstrated solid growth. This is the first sign of alt season. And right now we are in the final phase before a significant drop in dominance, which only means one thing. It is time to buy altcoins. The decline in dominance will lead the altcoin market to 100x growth. And I love what he says here. Your time to enter positions is limited as the growth is imminent. If you're using cold storage, don't use the bootleg products out there. Stick with the best so your portfolio is also going to be the best and the most secure out there. And we're talking about Arculus Cold Storage with their new sleek premium metal cards. They have all different types and styles, embedded, metal veneer, metal hybrid. Imagine the looks around the table when you slam down your 21-gram full metal cold storage card. Everyone's going to be in shock. Everyone's going to be in awe. And it's not just your portfolio bags. It's how you're securing it with the Arculus Cold Storage. Make sure you use code DC20 to save you 20%. Now, what's funny is he's saying, days after Christmas. Well, right here, he actually has it as New Year's Eve. So we're going to talk about New Year's Day and what that might mean for the previous cycle. So this chart that we're looking at right here, crypto total market cap, excluding Bitcoin. So this chart right here is the value of all altcoins. We're going to go to the weekly chart here just to make it a little bit easier to peruse. And then January 1st. 2017, altcoins went on an incredible run. And if we measure it from right there, 71,000%. Now, we do get diminishing returns as the markets mature. We went from 70,000 to about 700%. And now I expect, also diminishing return, but maybe in the 200 to 300% range. I don't think we shrink by a factor again. I think we can expect more than 70%. Now, if we zoom in on the daily just to see, did this actually kind of start on the 1st? Well, it looks pretty telling here. You can see right there, January 1st. And then we got a nice little potential breakout on the 2nd. And then January 3rd, things really started to take off. But now let's look at Bitcoin dominance. So this is all the altcoins and their market cap. This chart is the percentage that Bitcoin takes up of an entire market. And right now, this is what they would call a falling wedge. Now let's back up. But what exactly is a falling wedge? And I'm not talking about the part of the Parmesan cheese wheel fell off a table. I'm talking about when it comes to patterns and charts. So what is a rising wedge pattern signal? And is it bullish or bearish? Well, it signals a possible reversal to the downside. So it is a bearish chart formation. So this is typically going to lead to the downside. And you can see right here, kind of makes converging trend lines. They're making a wedge where support and resistance are sloping upward, but support slope is steeper than that of the resistance line. And you can see as it bounces up, the tops can't grow as much as the bottom, and so that's kind of signaling could be potentially bearish. And so when we go to this chart here, you can say, all right, well, I see the wedge, I see it rising. So we're gonna go to the 3-day chart here, and this broke to the downside. And we saw on that chart earlier, this right here, this candle right there, January 1st. So January 1st signaled great time to buy altcoins, and it looks like we might be potentially flirting with this level now. But let's kind of zoom in because we're seeing a lot of action at the top of this wedge. And so is this going to break down or is it a fake out? So you can see a couple fake out shakeouts to the upside, fell down, and then rejected as it tried to get back into the wedge. And then you can see right now, point of control right along the yellow line. So we're going to continue to watch this. Ben Cowan is predicting, it could be later on in the month, might get one more flush up towards 60% dominance. Now, Ben Cowan did say we might get one more flush out in December as Bitcoin dominance reaches 60% again. Is I get a question all the time, DZ, should I sell these altcoins and just buy Bitcoin? I'm seeing how Bitcoin's pumping. My altcoin's up a little bit. Should I just take all the profits, sell this altcoin, put it into Bitcoin, park it, set it, forget it? Well, folks, I'm going to highlight 3. I personally would not be selling my Ethereum right now for Bitcoin. I do think Ethereum is going to gain against Bitcoin. We got a lot of huge stuff coming in 2025. The AI agents is probably going to be a big source of attention. Huge network upgrades and regulatory improvements in the US. All of this is going to spell, very well for Ethereum. You look at Cardano. Cardano's about to unlock a whole bunch of Bitcoin liquidity with the Bitcoin OS integration. Charles Hoskinson wants a demo for Bitcoin Las Vegas. That's going to be in May 2025. And so if the Cardano community can show real use case with the Bitcoin ecosystem, going to be a terrible time to sell your Cardano. And then last but not least, I wouldn't be selling Chainlink at the same time Trump is buying Chainlink. And as Trump is about to go into the administration, step into the White House. And so if you're looking at the chart patterns of the past, we zoom out, we look at the weekly here. We see what happens in January, especially or the beginning part of January. It's a great time to hold on to your altcoins, folks. I would not be getting shaken out. Beware if there's another Bitcoin pump and your altcoins bleed. It could be that final shakeout design to remove you from the market. Don't let that happen, folks. I'm DZ. I'm going to be holding on to these altcoins, and hopefully I'll see you and all your massive alt gains at the top.